everybody. We're back to another episode. Woo! Of the Unraveled and Rising podcast, the place where we talk about the messy parts of life, the healing parts of life, and everything in between. I'm Michelle.
I'm Kimberly.
And I'm Terry.
And around here, we believe that you don't have to have it all figured out to keep moving forward.
This is a space for honest conversation and real stories.
And just a reminder that sometimes everything has to unravel for us to rise.
Absolutely. So grab your coffee, take a deep breath, and let's get started in today's episode. Today we're joined by Kathleen Hulme, a wellness advocate with more than 30 years in healthcare and a deeply personal journey through long COVID, cognitive recovery, autoimmune, misdiagnosis, caregiving, grief, and healing. After years of helping older adults stay safe and independent at home, Kathleen's own health challenges shifted the way she viewed wellness, aging, and quality of life. Now at 61, she describes herself as entering version 3.0 of life.
Yes.
More intentional, grounded, and passionate about helping others rethink what it truly means to live well. Her message is simple but powerful. How do you want to live until you die? Good question.
And isn't
Kathleen,
it a choice?
we're so grateful you're here. Thanks for coming on our podcast.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
This is Kimberly's friend.
Yes.
Do you want us just to share your experience with Kathleen?
Gosh, Kathleen, we've known each other probably 5 or 6 years. I don't even remember networking. Yeah, we met downtown Arvada. We met. We walked around. It's when we both drank.
Yep.
We met her, her and her husband. We stopped at a bar in Arvada and just
Had some
kind of
beers
met.
and
yeah, The rest
chatted.
is-
We love it when you share your personal journey and kind of a story of how you came to be where you are right now. I know we're going to get into a lot more details about long COVID, but just can you introduce yourself and kind of who you are and what you do and why you do it?
My name's Kathleen, and I have experienced 30 years in healthcare. I have been, for the last 8 years, an entrepreneur helping older adults age safe and independent at home. And since 2020, after getting long COVID, I have kind of shifted my journey from traditional healthcare into more of the health and wellness, holistic healing and helping people that way. I'll tell you, I'm a wife, I'm a mom, I'm a grandma, and I love pets.
Oh,
There you go.
Us too.
sounds like all of us.
Dogs and horses
Yeah.
I'm not a grandma.
No.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yes.
is the best.
It is the best. I always say it's a do-over.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. When you're given the chance.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's true. So I think we're interested in the long COVID journey. I don't know enough about long COVID. I know there's a lot of research out there, but if you could just tell us what that was, what experience was like, and what that meant for you, and how it's still impacting you.
Whew.
I know it seems like it's a big deal, and a lot of people have it.
Yeah, it's just crazy. I didn't know that that's what was going on with me. And I actually, when I got COVID, it was in November of 2020. And I did not have the traditional symptoms like most people had. I couldn't figure out why when we went into hospitals, they were taking temperatures, because mine was all gut. I was so sick for 8 days, not like you'd think typical flu stuff. I couldn't eat. I was so nauseated and I was so profoundly tired. I would be talking to my husband and I'd fall asleep.
Wow.
And then as time progressed, I realized I couldn't complete a sentence. I couldn't operate a microwave. My executive functioning was like zilch. Organizational tasks, word finding,
Wow.
just problem solving, attention, focus, all that. It was like flatlined. It was awful for me. And if you and I were having a conversation, I would forget what I was talking about in the middle of a sentence. It was so embarrassing. It was exhausting. I tell people it was exasperating. It was just nothing that I had ever experienced before. And to the point, my executive functioning, working with my home safety clients, I would write a report in like 2 to 3 hours. At my worst, it was taking 20 hours. That's how bad it was. I couldn't organize my thoughts. My husband was like, "What? Why are you still doing that?" And I said, "People still need my services. It's not their fault. It's taking me forever to write the report." Right? So it was life-changing for me.
How long did that impact you from what you're describing there? How long of the time period was that?
Well, it still does.
Oh, it still does.
It still does. I have not gotten 100% back to my baseline. I would say On my worst days, I'm probably 75% back to baseline. My best days, maybe 80, 85% back. But that 25 to 15% is huge, you know, what I don't have. And the interesting thing was, after I got COVID, I had my left rotator cuff surgery and I had nerve pain in this arm that I could not get rid of for almost a year. I don't
After
know
the
if that
surgery?
was, yeah.
Huh.
I don't know if that was COVID related or what, but I had the surgery like 14 days after I had COVID.
I'm surprised they did the surgery.
They said I had to be symptom free for 14 days. And of course, it's the end of the year. We all want to meet our deductibles have been met. We don't want to go into the new year having a major surgery. So I was like, please, please, please.
Well, and typically after an infection, after 14 days and you're asymptomatic, you're usually fine.
Yeah.
So,
And then doesn't that also impact you when you go through a surgery? You're also going through anesthesia, which could also impact your brain. and neck as well.
yeah.
Yep.
Right? It's like, seems like
'Cause
that
it-
would not be a good thing when you have a brain.
It shuts down some of that functioning.
Yeah, it was crazy. And then, so I'll continue with my long COVID journey. In almost a year to the day that I got COVID in 2021, I started having symptoms of difficulty breathing, difficulty swallowing, talking like I had a fat tongue. And I was like, what is going on? And I had gone into my PCP for the cognitive stuff. I think it was like October. And they said, we need to get a baseline for your cognition. I'm going to make you a referral to neurology. So in January, I go into neurology and I'm like, I know that I'm here for a cognitive exam, but I'm going to tell you, this is what I have going on. And he's like, I want her tested for strep, for MS, for myasthenia gravis, for da-da-da-da-da. And I am bawling because I know what this means. I didn't mention that
We often know too much in healthcare.
that's the thing. And I didn't mention that in my intro that I have 30 years of experience in OT. So, you know, when you know too much,
Yes.
it can be very scary. So I, waited for the blood work. 2 weeks later, it came back and I tested positive for MUSC, myasthenia gravis, which is an extremely rare form of myasthenia gravis. And they told me, you could be on a ventilator. You could be talking to somebody and then all of a sudden be on a ventilator. And I was like, oh my gosh. And you can't be stressed and you can't be in heat and your pulse ox doesn't read like a normal person. And I was like, what is, so anyway, thank God for my background in healthcare. And thank God I'm not afraid to advocate for myself. I called the Mayo Clinic and I was like, okay, I need to see if I can get in here. And it's January. It's cold. I didn't want to go to Minnesota.
Ever. But
And and Arizona and Florida were full. They wouldn't accept me, but Mayo did in Minnesota. And I spent a week there to find out I had been misdiagnosed. And I'm like, how can that even possibly be? It showed up on my blood work. I had all the symptoms. And basically what they told me is it was like a perfect storm. They said, you may get it again. It may come back. It may not. But they said, you don't have it anymore. And thank God, I'm grateful that I no longer have those symptoms. But they were like, it can be lupus or Sjogren's or,
All these autoimmune things.
Other autoimmune things. And, for people that know autoimmune, it's like this.
Yes.
Have symptoms and then they're gone. So it's hard to really diagnose. And so anyway, I just was grateful because my options for treatment were not good. And I came back, had more testing done, saw more specialists, and I never did get a diagnosis, which I'm grateful for. So yeah.
So when did they determine that it was long COVID leading up to that?
I didn't get a formal diagnosis of long COVID. Okay. I just know from experience, reading, research, all the things. And doctors have said, it sounds like you may have long COVID. There wasn't a specific diagnosis of long COVID. So anyway, they said, go home, follow up with a rheumatologist, an endocrinologist, a hematologist, and your PCP. And that's what I did. And they couldn't find anything.
That's great.
So I'm grateful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then Kimberly was saying that you also had an issue with your breast implant. that also caused problems for you?
If I'm being honest, I think that my whole entire health journey started with breast implant illness, and I just didn't know it. I started having symptoms in 2013. I got my breast implants put in 2004. And 2013, I remember it being October and I was out raking the lawn, and I just felt like the fibers in my forearms were just ripping apart. It hurt so bad. And so I went to the rheumatologist and they tested me for mixed connective tissue disease and RA and lupus, and I didn't have any of it. And MS even, they did. And nothing came back positive. In the meantime, in 2013, I have surgery on my elbow. I have surgery on my shoulder. 2014, I have a hysterectomy and I'm anemic from bleeding so much. 2015, I had to have this shoulder redone. 2016, I had my gallbladder out.
Jeez.
2017 and 18, I was fine. 2019, I had a meniscus tear repair. 2020, I had my shoulder done, and that's when I got COVID. 2021 was just a shit show year. I'll just say that after, with cognition. And I just was acting weird. It was just bizarre. And then 2022, I had my right knee replaced, and I also had my appendix removed. And then in 2025, I had my explant done, because all of the symptoms that I had, I thought were due to maybe something autoimmune or whatever, but there was no diagnosis. And a girlfriend told me in like maybe 2014, 15, she's like, you think you might have breast implant illness? And I was like, I don't know. I don't know what it feels like. And I don't feel like, any tenderness or, there were no outward signs of breast implant illness. And so I went and I had an MRI done in 2017. There was no rupture. But when I had my explant, I went to see Dr. Kahn in Michigan, and I live in Colorado. And people say, well, why did you go clear to Michigan to get your explant? And the reason I went there is because Dr. Kahn only does explant. I truly believe if you're doing implants and explants, there is a little bit of a contraindication. I feel like you either believe that breast implants are toxic or you don't. If you're going to put them in, stick with putting them in, or exchange them. And then they don't tell you that there's a 10-year warranty on them, really. And mine were 20.
Yeah, I was telling her, I worked on a surgery unit at St. Joe's, and we would get a lot of people that would come in with breast implant after they'd had them for a certain amount of time, and they'd come in with infection.
Yeah, I mean, it's deadly. Yeah. And people don't know there's a black box warning on them that they are toxic.
Because it's a foreign object in your body that your body doesn't recognize.
What's in the implant?
Well, it's just the fact that you have something foreign inside of your body.
So it's not the actual fluid in it or whatever.
No, it's just that it's foreign to your body, and your body doesn't know what to do with it.
I gotcha.
Well, and all implants are made out of silicone, and what's in them is either silicone or saline. Mine were silicone.
Which isn't supposed to hurt your body.
Well,
right.
It's foreign.
That's what they say.
Yeah. I always say when it's foreign, any foreign object that your body doesn't know what to do with can be detrimental.
Yeah. And
it doesn't recognize it.
Right. Mm-hmm. And it forms a capsule around the implant to protect the body from the foreign object leaching into the rest of your body. Right. So when he took the implant out with the capsule, he would rub the implant and you could see how sticky. So that silicone was leaching outside of that implant into my body. Mm-hmm. And that was probably why I was feeling sick. I brought a list. My memory from long COVID is not great. And so that is a frustrating piece. I lost a lot of my long-term memory, of my long-term memory. My kids will ask me, do you remember? And I'm like, no, I don't. And that's frustrating.
Yeah.
But looking at like my breast implant illness symptoms, The one, profound fatigue, brain fog, chronic inflammation, changes in my nails, and muscle twitching, vertigo. But I had the most deafening tinnitus in my ears, like deafening. If I went into a restaurant where there was a lot of noise, I couldn't hear. It felt like my head was going to explode. As soon as I came out of that surgery, it was gone, and I've never had it back.
Wow.
It's been a year and a half. Yeah.
Again, you know, it just goes back to what we say on this podcast when we talk about trauma and just things that we've gone through, how the body's communicating. So like, what is it my body wants me to hear? What does it need from me? What's it telling me? And so that's such a perfect example that you, as soon as you got that taken care of, it was gone.
Right. Well, and I think people don't understand that no matter what disease or illness that you have, it's in your body for a very long time, many times years before we see symptoms. Yeah. So when your body is whispering, you need to listen.
Yes. And it's very quiet. And it's very quiet.
It is very quiet.
Dr. Gabor Mate wrote a book called When the Body Says No. And that's exactly what it's about. That it will just scream and scream and scream, and then it will just shut down, and something will happen and show up in our life.
And then the thing is, don't just run to the doctor as soon as you notice something, because then you're going to get a medication of some sort.
Yeah.
And then you're going to get another one and another one and another one.
Well, and I was
Research first.
I was just telling them about the stories of transformation that we kind of dissect. And we had a gentleman that was on our came on as a guest to our healthcare practitioner group that was there, and he shared that when he started asking, "What is my cancer trying to communicate to me? What's it telling me?" and really sitting with that question with his body, that it started to tell him about how he didn't use his voice, and like it started sharing things about him throughout his life that he just didn't. He never stood up for himself. He always devalued who he was, and so it was very interesting. How those things kind of we don't connect the two,
Right.
but it's so it's so much more than what we really think it is. And the thing that's frustrating for me is that being a healthcare professional, as you guys too, they don't tell us that. Like, they don't train us in that way. And so that's why I'm such a big proponent on trauma informed care, because we being able to look at what else is going on. You never hear them ask about what's going on. What stressors are you going through in your life? What's your environment like? Tell me about that. It's more, okay, did your dad have this? What are your genetics? Blah, blah, blah. It's never what's going on within my environment that could be causing a lot of stressors that may be contributing to this.
Well, and I think part of that too is because that means they sit down and spend time with you, right? And when they get 15 minutes to review your chart, see you, and document.
Well, and then here's the thing, is that when you have, and we talked about this as well, when doctors come in and they shared, I have so many patients that are experiencing all these different symptoms, and it's a plethora of them. It's not one. But, you almost become a revolving door for them, and sometimes, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't say this online, but sometimes I think that's what it's meant to do.
Oh, yeah.
And they almost become numb to, it's like, oh, another one.
Yeah. I
I
totally
mean?
agree.
And I'm sorry, as women, it's a very different experience than a man walking into it.
And it's healthcare, but we can't forget that healthcare is human care.
Yeah.
It's not about all this, soapbox.
Yeah.
Do you want to share? You shared some of the symptoms. If anybody's listening to this, and maybe could you just share some of the symptoms again?
Yeah.
That? Because maybe somebody will recognize that they're having.
Because they may be having trouble getting a diagnosis.
Yeah. Well, the part of the problem is that our medical system does not recognize breast implant illness as a diagnosis or as an illness. So that's why I loved going to Dr. Khan, because he understands it and he truly believes that breast implant illness exists. I'll give you an example. My sister got breast implants before I did. I was 32 when I got mine. And she had hers way before I did. She ended up getting hers swapped out right either before or after I had mine explanted. And she's like, My doctor said I didn't need to have the capsule taken out. I'll be fine. I'm not having any symptoms, da 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 da. And maybe for her, she's fine. But I also have a friend who has breast cancer. She is now on her 3rd set of implants because the first 2
Yeah.
ruptured after
I've
a
seen those
mastectomy.
ruptures too. Yeah.
And
After
I'm like,
mastectomy?
yeah. And I'm like, why would you even put your body through that? For me, going through breast implant illness, it just terrifies me. And I just learned to love the body God gave you.
Absolutely.
Is
And
at
the wisdom
60,
that's in
almost
there.
61.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
just even with, I go every Sunday to the Denver Women's Correctional Facility and do a trauma recovery program. And that's exactly what I say, honor our body. No matter, if we think it failed us at some point, actually, if we really look at it, it was actually protecting us.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that it loves you more than anything. And it will go through tremendous stuff to continue to protect you. Even if it is that survival mode, keeping that alarm system going, because it does think that it's protecting you from whatever has happened in the past. And so it actually is going through there and retraining
Right.
are those neural networks that are so strong.
So true. So some of the symptoms that I had, I just, before I had my surgery, my surgeon sent me this list, and this isn't even everything that I had. Chronic low B12 was one, anemia was one for me. Again, the chronic fatigue, the brain fog, difficulty concentrating, word retrieval, memory issues, muscle aches and pains, joint pain and soreness, hair loss, dry skin, eyes, mouth, weight gain. If you saw pictures of me prior to finding, going the holistic route of health to now, I was 50 pounds heavier, and a lot of it was inflammation. Plus I was numbing life with alcohol.
Yeah.
Enjoying life, but not in a good way.
Sometimes
it's enjoying,
well, sometimes
right?
that's the only thing that's taking care of our pain.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's what did it do for you at the time,
Right.
And then that's the thing about healthcare is normalizing that and saying, hey, what happened to you that has brought you here?
Yeah.
And not
Instead of
like what's wrong with you? Why do you keep making these decisions?
Right.
Yeah.
Because at some point that was soothing the pain. Yeah.
Yeah. Until you wake up the next morning, and then you're
Till it gets so bad. Yeah.
Especially the older you get, right?
Exactly.
For a week.
Right.
Yeah.
Low libido, autoimmune disease, night sweats, insomnia, tingling and numbness in your arms and legs, cold hands and feet, foul body odor. This is a crazy thing. When I was diagnosed with this autoimmune, I asked the neurologist, I said, can your body odor change? He's like, no, your body odor is not going to change. I was like, I'm feeling kind of stinky. And my armpits, I'm like, what? It smelled like rotten onions. And
Really?
I'd never experienced that before. Yeah, it was bad.
Just blame it on menopause or something.
Yeah, exactly. And then muscle twitching, vertigo, sensitivity to light really, really bothered me, and noise. And still today, I don't notice it as much, but certain pitches really, really irritate my brain. I don't like certain pitches. Swelling. I would get white spots on my skin, like thyroid symptoms, but my thyroid was fine. Symptoms like fibromyalgia, shortness of breath. A lot of women report difficulty breathing, taking deep breaths. And non-alcoholic fatty liver is another. And I had that slow muscle recovery after exercise, decline in vision. My vision was really blurry. I felt like everything was transposed on top. And that was after I got the long COVID. So I don't know if it was a combination of breast implant illness and long COVID, but that was awful.
That's better?
Oh, yeah. And constant throat clearing. You go all the time. I did that all the time. Dizziness, mood swings, emotional instability, depression, and then again, the ringing in the ears. So those were all the symptoms I had, you guys. Out of all of those, after I had my implants out, they all went away except for 7 of them. And some of the 7 are intermittent and some are diminished but still present.
I'm curious, just listening to what you're sharing there. Before you got COVID, was there like a tremendous fear of COVID?
No.
Before you got it? Okay.
Mm-mm. And I did not get the shot.
Yeah.
I didn't have any fear of getting it at all.
Yeah.
It's interesting how some people it just impacts completely different.
Yeah.
COVID is just a very just strange thing. It's like some people, I mean, I had it, but didn't even really impact me at all.
I had it 3 times and me neither.
Yeah.
I think the
really
worst thing
minimal.
was a sense of smell.
Yeah.
That was it.
See, and I didn't lose any of that. But my niece is a researcher. And I said, why is COVID so different for people? And she goes, viruses will attack your body where your body is weak. So obviously my gut health was not good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
So on your road to recovery, I know that you found a company and that's been helping you. Why don't you talk about that a little?
So I was married to the medical field. I was 39 years. I just retired in March.
Congratulations.
What did you do in
Thank
the
you.
medical field?
Occupational therapy.
Okay, got
I was a certified occupational therapy assistant.
Wow.
And I spent most of my career working with older adults in skilled nursing, which is what led me to my home safety business, which I started that right before COVID. And my dad got cancer, my 2 sisters got cancer, and I was just flatlined. I mean, I just absorbed all of that.
Yeah.
And then COVID came. And so it was challenging to get it off the ground. I feel like it's a really good service. It's much needed, but it's been a struggle. Older adults don't like to invest in themselves. They want
Even
to,
if they have the money to.
Yep.
yeah, they want to save money for their adult children and leave that inheritance because that's so important. And us adult children are begging them, no, I want to sleep through the night knowing you
Please
haven't
get
fallen.
the care you
Please.
need. Yeah.
Yeah, modify your home. Please get the care. But my husband was absolutely desperate for me to feel better. And I did not believe in holistic healing really at all. And definitely not like supplements. I mean, there's every lotion, potion, pill out there. And I was of the belief that what works for one doesn't work for another. So I had said, no. I was just like, I'm a proud skeptic.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't need it. I'm not sick, whatever, for a long time. And then I had a PT friend. She's into holistic healing. She's a homeschool mom and, somebody I knew, liked, trusted, but also respected. And she called me the week before I'm heading to Mayo Clinic and said, hey, I want to talk to you about something that decreases oxidative stress and blah, 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 blah. And I'd heard this because several people had approached me or talked about it in networking meetings. And I'm like, are you talking about Protandim? She goes, I am. I was like, okay. I said, I don't have time to deal with this right now. I'm headed out to the Mayo Clinic, but I'll get back with you. I listened to her and her upline spiel about these products that literally activate your body to, it like turns on your internal pharmacy to help your body heal itself. I didn't even know what oxidative stress was. We weren't taught that in medical school, right?
Why don't you touch on that a little bit, what it is?
So oxidative stress, if you are a living, breathing mammal, human being, we all have it. We can't escape it. It's EMFs, it's pollution, it's food additives, it's
normal everyday stress.
Yeah. It's, preservatives.
It's the traffic.
Yeah. Well, and you know what? It's actually good things too. Exercise causes, eating causes oxidative stress. Breathing causes oxidative stress. So way back in time, we didn't have all the pollutants in the air in our foods and all that. Our foods were more whole. It wasn't a huge deal.
And again, our body doesn't recognize some of that stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
And it doesn't know what to do with
And it
it.
causes,
Yes. So my husband's like, I'm desperate to have my wife back. He goes, I'm going to try it. I said, go ahead. It's not going to work. And then a couple of weeks later, he comes home and he's like, hey, I can get on the bike easier. Hey, I can get in and out of the truck easier. I can go up and down the stairs. I'm sleeping better. And I'm like, well, my competitive side, I'm like, you're not going to feel better than I am. I'm like, I'm going to try this. But I tried one product at a time. I was very, very cautious. And I was having my blood work done often enough that I would know if something was happening. Although it took me a while to understand the difference between activation and supplementation. Supplementation is giving your body something it's deficient in, and it will use what it needs in that moment that you take it, and it will get rid of the rest.
But then the activation, activating what you already have.
Yeah, activation is turning on systems that are sluggish or have gone dormant, like the NRF2 pathway, your cells. It just gets your cells healthy. And then like your mitochondrial health is your energy producers of the cells. And then your NAD helps with sirtuins, and that just kind of keeps all the sludge out. So it keeps the whole system running clean. So I tried that, and at about 6 weeks, I kept saying, this isn't working. This isn't working. And we all know holistic products don't work like pharmaceuticals. We, in this society, we want everything right now. And it's really hard to be patient and wait for something, something to happen. But at about 6 weeks, I was sleeping through the night for the first time in 5 years. At about 8 weeks, I could write a report in 4 hours from 20 hours. And my night vision improved. And the biggest thing was I had been on antidepressants for 30 years. 30. And I had forgotten to put my antidepressants in with these products. And about 2.5 weeks later, I'm like, wait a minute, something's missing here. And I noticed that I didn't put my antidepressant in there, and I haven't been on them since, which is incredible.
Yeah.
So yeah, it literally, those products literally gave me my life back. Literally gave me my life back. And my husband and I both take them. We actually give the NRF2 to our dogs. And our dogs are 15 and 12, and they're very healthy. The one has seizures. She just started in October. We don't know why, but she only has one a month. And I'm terrified to take her off the activators because I'm like, I don't want her to have any more. And the vet said, it's not epilepsy. It could be a brain tumor or something, but I'm not going to, at this age, have her go through any type of surgery. Right. The outcome would still be the same. And I just want her to have good quality of life. Yeah. And, that's what I want too. So.
Yeah, it's always, you hear that phrase all the time. And on that story of transformation, he said, it's about the quality of life that you do have. Right. Mm-hmm. Not quantity.
Yeah. And you want your health span
yes.
to match your lifespan.
Absolutely.
Is what you want.
Right. Yes.
And so
I live to 105.
When you're miserable,
and lonely. And,
absolutely.
We live 20% of our lives unhealthy.
Yes.
I would, I'd rather die than live miserably at the end of my life. Yeah. Put me out of my misery,
You're supposed to do that at the beginning,
right?
Your teenage years and 20s,
yeah,
and then get healthy.
Well, yeah. When you think of just the time that we're given here to eternity, it's like not that long. No. So it's like, oh.
So do you work with people in person only or online as well? How do you work with people when you work with them?
As far as like home safety or LifeVantage or both? Right? It's all in person.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's all in person.
It's like an inspection.
Yeah. So I go into people's homes. I do an assessment of the environment as well as the task, and then I make recommendations for modifications of the environment and or the task. I work with contractors and handymen and also non-medical home care companies to, help them identify what can be done.
Do you need like a shower? Do you need like bed handrails?
Right, yeah. Right. And I mean, they're the experts in structure. I don't know anything about structure. I know that this is a barrier and we need to move it or we need to do something to allow them to complete XYZ task. And so that's kind of how it works. Or say in non-medical home care, the patient has had or the client has had a change in function and the staff member helping is saying it's no longer safe for me to help this person in this condition. So what can we do to modify the task and or the environment? Yeah. Well, so they can stay at home and have the assistance and the client and the caregiver are safe. So
That's, we love
Where
our,
would they find you if they wanted to work with you here in the Denver metro area?
they would find me by calling me.
Don't give your phone number out.
No,
do you have a website?
I don't. I used to have a website. I do not have a website anymore.
They can email you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we could.
Yeah,
We'll put the
show
email.
notes.
Yeah, we'll put the email
Yeah.
in the show notes. You can contact her directly if you're into that.
We love our OTs.
Yes, we do.
Thank you. Thank you. You know what? It was such a fulfilling career. They say people change careers, 7 times in their lives. And I was a nanny. Well, I was a cosmetologist, a nanny, and then I was a COTA for.
Well, you know what's so funny is we actually do change our career all the time,
but we
we're
keep this-
nurses,
right,
because
exactly.
you know I've been surgery, I've been hospice, home health, infusion, trauma, eating recovery. I mean,
It's great for
PCU.
people with ADD.
Yeah.
I love it because it's never, the day's never the same.
Right.
You know, every day I go, I'm doing something different. And even in the environment, whether it be infusion or at the bedside, the interaction and the experience is so different. There's never a day that's the same. You know, I think it's the best career in the world.
I worked in a lot of different areas of OT. But it was funny. I graduated from college and I was like, I'm never working with old people. Dentures freak me out. I'm not wiping butts. I'm not doing this. And I just loved getting to know older adults, their wisdom, their life experiences.
Like I've met people that were in the Holocaust and just the things that they share.
Yeah.
It's like, wow.
Yeah.
You know?
I had a patient that rode Harleys with Elvis Presley.
Wow.
Yeah. That was really cool to hear that story. And
And they're so simple.
Mm-hmm.
Still?
My husband and I do, yeah. I don't have my own bike. I'd crash. I'm not that
You're a
skilled.
passenger.
No, I'm a passenger.
You know,
Fender fluff.
I never wanted to be a nurse ever. Like it was nothing I ever thought I would do. I wanted to be an attorney. This is really funny, but I would have been damn good at it too, just by the way. With knowing my personality.
Yes.
Yep.
But you know,
Defense attorney.
well, yeah, I think God was like, no, there's actually a softer part in you. And he put me in nursing, but it was through friends, you know, and I happened to be working at Trail Dust Steakhouse, and that's where her and I met. And I met 2 girls there. One was in the nursing program, and the other one was, actually both of them were. And so they told me exactly what to do to go get on the wait list and all that kind of stuff, so I went and did it. And then when I was in it, what you were just saying, cleaning the butts and everything, I remember one day just gagging and just going, God, I do not know how you think I'm going to do this. Because I prayed about it. I was like, I know you just didn't want me here to have kids, because I had 4 kids. And I just felt like I was almost 30. And I'm like, I just don't feel like I'm doing anything with my life. Like, you know, that was the first part. And then nursing. And I'm like, I just remember sitting there going, I do not know how I'm going to do this. You know what I mean? And then like little comments throughout my career, people would like look at me. I remember changing a PICC line dressing change, and the guy looked at me and he's looking real close to me because I'm close to him. He's like, you really love your job, don't you? You know, just little things like that just kept reminding me that, is this what you're meant to do? And then full circle now, going through my last 6 years of my life and going into nurse coaching and trauma recovery. And I'm like, you knew all along what I was going to be doing in nursing. Yeah. You know, you just never know how it's going to show up or why he put me in nursing, because it clearly, I was just like, I don't know if I want to do this for the rest of my life, but now I just love it for a whole different reason. Yeah. And now, you know, as we're becoming more educated and getting more knowledge on trauma, I believe, you know, they're starting to bring this trauma-informed information into the thing. And then Dr. Joe, you know, they've asked him to start writing helping colleges with some of these doctoral programs and stuff. So it's just like, you knew all along what was gonna end up coming out 20 years later. So it, you know, it just goes back to us saying, trust the process, trust the journey, and embrace those difficult seasons, because there's truly something coming from that. There is. There really is.
Well, we appreciate you being here.
Yes, thank you.
I love this story. We could talk to you for 2-3 hours.
I just want to say that if there's one thing I hope people take away from my story, is that you don't have to wait for a crisis to start thinking about your health, your energy, or the way you live your life, right? Every day we're making choices that either support our future or slowly take away from it. And most of the time we don't even realize that. right? So health isn't about perfection. It's about protecting your ability to live with independence, dignity, and purpose.
Yes.
And I think the question worth sitting with is simple. How do you want to live until you die? Right?
That's a good question.
It's a good question. For anybody, yeah, absolutely. Because Kimberly, thanks for bringing such a great guest. You guys have done such a good job with the guests we've had today. But we really appreciate it. If you like and subscribe, if this resonates with you, please comment. We love more comments. If you need to get in touch with Kathleen, we'll be happy to provide you with her contact information. And we look forward to seeing you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.